Hey everybody, Kat here. Welcome to the channel. Hope you're having a great day. It's Saturday morning, and the world is abuzz with the Prince Andrew news, and I reported on it yesterday in my video, Andrew Seeds His Fancy Hat. 'Cause really, so far, when you break it down, that's all that's happened. He has agreed to not use his Duke of York title. Now, watch that language. He didn't give it up. It hasn't been taken away. He's just said he wouldn't use it. It's been put in abeyance, such as his HRH is. Though him and Sarah both pull that out time and time again when they find it convenient. So he's agreed not to use his Duke of York or his other, Baron of whatever, those titles. He's not going to use those titles. But, of course, born of the Queen, he's still Prince Andrew. That could be dealt with, but it's messy. But here's the thing, nothing's really changed for him. The only things he's given up are his Order of the Garter and his Knight of the Grand Cross, I think it's called. All he's given up is the opportunity to wear that fancy hat a couple times a year at a banquet or a parade. I mean, for Andrew, public humiliation, this all in the press all the time, it's got to be highly embarrassing, and we know that he is pretty stuck on himself. He's got a pretty high opinion of himself. So to be humiliated in the press and in the public like this will hurt him, hurt him more than almost anything. It's a huge blow to him. Now, but it's not enough, and I've said this, but I just find that this is going to get larger. This is only the beginning. It's really interesting because if you haven't checked it out already, this is the time to do it. My playlist, King Charles III, Life Imitating Art. Because I told you a little over a month ago now, was it? The Tommy Robinson rally in Britain that saw millions out in the street protesting the state of things. That was our seminal event, which in the timeline that I've kind of built, that is how I can go along and say this is happening, that is happening. I've been saying for a while now, well, since the beginning, that it was going to be William first behind the scenes managing things, taking control of things, and that it would ultimately result in his basically forcing Charles to abdicate. I maintain we've had our seminal event, the rally. And now we know the king is weak. We know that Charles is ineffectual. So we know that this was not precipitated by him. I mean, we saw just a couple of weeks ago at the the Duchess of Kent's funeral. Well, Andrew and Sarah weren't supposed to be there, yet they arrived with a police escort, the whole shebang. And we saw at the end they maneuvered themselves on the cathedral steps to be right beside Charles, to be right beside William. Andrew tried to crack a joke at William, wasn't impressed. That was the last straw for William. Because remember, shortly after that, we heard that William was up at Balmoral with the king having talks. That's where William put his foot down and said, no, we're done. This is only the first step. And I mean, when I said, and I've been saying for over 2 years now, that it was going to be William manipulating things from behind, and this is going to be William rising to his ultimate power, that has been confirmed this morning in the press. Different news people and esteemed historian and author Andrew Lowney have all said that it was pressure from William and the government behind the scenes that moved Andrew to cede the titles. So I was right. It is William behind the scenes. And now that that's confirmed, I feel even stronger in telling you what's happening next. This isn't the end for Andrew, because as we know, this was done now to try to get ahead a little bit. Is like William just said, it's time. We can't wait another day. It's happening. We're pulling the trigger on this now. Because we know the autobiography of Virginia Giuffre is coming out in a matter of days. And there's been leaks of that book already. And the general consensus is that it's going to be horrifyingly damaging for Andrew. So they had to get ahead of it before that came out. So this is not the end of things for Andrew. I mean, there's politicians that want governmental investigations into what Andrew got up to as his time as a special envoy for the British government. We've heard real estate deals and Chinese spies and what all he's gotten up to. You know, it's a situation where him and Sarah, not just losing some ceremonial titles, but perhaps real investigation and perhaps prosecution if illegal things were found. But even the right to investigate those kinds of things is severely hampered in Britain. For example, and author Andrew Lowney said this a bunch of times, it's been real interesting trying to compile his books, because the British family is not subject to the same laws of freedom of information as everybody else is. You can't submit a freedom of information on something to do with a member of the royal family, because they don't have to comply, right? Royal archives and things like that, very difficult to find any information, and we've known from history a lot of information gets put under wraps for like 70 years, 100 years. So you're never going to find out what happened. By the time it becomes available to the public, there's nobody alive anymore to understand what's going on. And then when you do try to request the information, they, suppress most of it anyway. I mean, we know this is how the royal family works. So even from an investigative point of view, pretty troublesome. Even from the king's own government. Can you imagine? It's hard to have a fist fight with yourself. And that's in effect what any kind of discovery by the government and attempt to investigating Andrew, it just can't happen, you know. And that is one thing in his favor. But, I mean, look at the situation. He's given up some titles, given up the opportunity to parade a couple times a year in a fancy hat. He's still a counselor of state. He's still in the line of succession. He's still in Royal Lodge, which, because it's on royal grounds, he still gets all that protection. Millions of dollars of your taxpayer dollars still supporting Andrew. And who knows what kind of a side hustle he and Sarah have at any given time. We know she's the high side hustle queen. She'll lose her titles too, but, you know, neither one of these two have any shame. This is the thing. It's going to humiliate Andrew for a while, and he'll be angry. But in the long run, it's not going to change his life. What William's got to do, and I think what will be done, because he's not finished with Andrew. There will be, let's just say, William will let it be known that it will be much to Andrew's advantage to comply with anything William dishes out. And I've said it before, there may be, as with the case I've said with William and Harry, and we'll get to that in a minute, that Harry and Meghan, there is going to be some kind of a financial settlement one way or another. And I think with Andrew as well. But Andrew's going to lie. I'm sure he's got lots of money socked away. We know he's got a lot of shady friends, business partners. I'm sure his income isn't going to be too impacted by this all. But they're going to have to give him some get-lost money to get him out of Royal Lodge, to get him off the royal website, to get him out of the line of succession and off of the Counselor of State. That's what's up in the air, and that's what's left to be done. And I think we're going to hear murmurings of that kind of stuff starting very soon. Notwithstanding that Virginia's book is coming out in days, and I think that's going to be terribly damaging. So I think this is only the beginning of the end for Andrew and Sarah. I think it's going to get a lot uglier before they're actually truly exiled. But that's going to happen. And on the heels of that, William's going to be dealing with Harry and Meghan. And things with Harry and Meghan are already unraveling before our very eyes. We've seen it for a while. And interestingly enough, all of it is documented in my playlist, The Time Loop. And it's playing out, and the two of them are converging. It's really getting kind of spooky and interesting. And so I can talk about this just like I know what's going to happen next. And I've told you what I think is going to happen with Harry and Meghan next. And yeah, I think those talks are already in place of how to sort Harry and Meghan out. It's already underway, and that's why Harry's scrambling. That's why Harry's scrambling. He knows the end is near. And I mean, I've talked about this, and I've given the whole damn thing almost a time frame, a timeline. I've been saying for over 2 years now that William is going to take control and Charles is going to concede the crown to him. I was saying that even before we had a cancer diagnosis. And not that he hasn't suffered with cancer or anything, but I'm just saying now that this could be used as his reason to step down. Even though the whole public, the press is talking about it, royal reporters, everybody is saying that that Charles is a weak king. They know what I've known all along, that William is behind this. It's only a matter of time. A matter of months, really. And I think we're going to see some, between now and, say, April, everything's going to change, man. Everything's going to change. It's going to be wild to watch. Strap in and stay with me. Like, subscribe, leave me a comment. I want to know what you're thinking. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye, everybody.